My name is Jeff Smith, and welcome to the 2014-2015 Leadership Franklin Graduation Day. We'd like to say thank you to the media, the Leadership Franklin alumni, and other special guests that are with us today. At the beginning of each Leadership Franklin year, the Leadership Franklin class is divided into groups. Each group is asked to come up with a project that is aimed at serving the Franklin community. The projects being presented today will benefit our community in law enforcement, in education, and quality of life. Our first group, appropriately named Group Number 1, their members are Kenny Benj, John Finkel, Shelley Moeller, Jimmy Moody, and Ed Smith. Their presentation will reveal a new, convenient way to support the preservation of Franklin's Civil War battlefield. Group Number 1.
Thank you. My name is John Finkel, and I'm representing Group 1. As you mentioned, Shelley Moeller, Kenny Benj, Jimmy Moody, and Ed Smith. Team members, like to thank them for all the hard work over the last year in preparation for today's presentation. Our presentation here in our project summary, if you can go to the next slide. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got that. Our mission is to support Franklin through the further development of Carter Hill Park, which will increase awareness of the Battle of Franklin, increase tourism, improve the local economy, and positively impact the quality of life for Franklin residents. Our objective is to leverage the work done by last year's class of 2014, Leadership Franklin class of 2014 members, Jason Ritson and Kelly Gilfillan, who came up with a donation station. We wanted to leverage that fine work and be able to install 10 of these donation stations throughout retail establishments in Franklin. Our strategies was the procurement of software and hardware for the actual donation stations, gaining retailer support, gaining video support to be able to effectively promote and market the donation stations, and then also determine the sustainability of the program, or to implement tactics that will make this program sustainable and be able to generate funds for the further expansion of donation stations throughout Franklin and Brentwood and the surrounding areas. So specifically, we raised approximately $4,000, and we used that money to purchase 10 iPads and docking stations, and then we worked with Jason to help program those stations, install the software that you see up here, that you will see up here. And this is a donation station, and Jason and his team installed the software and made the donation connection possible. Then we met with retailers, local business owners, and secured agreements for the installation of 10 stations throughout Franklin. We installed them at Carter House, Carton Plantation, at the Harpeth True Value, Landmark Booksellers, and we have to be installed in the near term, the Juice Bar, Puckett's, the Williamson County Library, the TMA, Moody's Tires, and Avec Moi. And then we also have already installed, the first installation was at a restaurant in Thompson Station called Circa, that Jason is the owner of. Then we worked on video support, and we worked directly with AJ Media, which Alba is the owner, and I'd like to thank Alba and her team for all the fine support she provided our group, to produce and edit a marketing video that enhanced the user experience. So this is the current user experience. We wanted to provide some video links on the actual donation station itself, to be able to highlight why it's important, be able to have a call to action from local celebrities, but also from Eric Jacobson himself, who is, as you know, the president and CEO of the Battlefield Trust. We had 2 parts, as I mentioned. Eric's did 2 videos. He did 2 versions, one with a call to action for retailers, asking them to install donation stations in their retail establishments, and then one for local visitors to just make a donation. Any amount is acceptable. And then we had 10 high visibility Franklin residents and officials that we videotaped actually making donations and making a presentation on the video about donation station. So from a marketing perspective, we worked with Kelly. I'd like to thank Kelly and her team as well. She helped provide promotional coverage for the donation station launch and also the celebrity video via the Franklin, Brentwood, Spring Hill, Nolensville homepage. Also worked with Derby Jones to include the launch coverage in the Williamson Herald and the Herald Online. And then we worked with Franklin's Charge Board of Directors to ensure that funds are set aside to continue the expansion. And basically there, for every $3,000 raised, we have a commitment that one donation station will be donated. And so as we raise more money, we expand it, and as we expand it, we raise more money, and hopefully we'll have as many as 50 donation stations throughout Franklin and Brentwood by year's end. And that's really our goal. So next step is for Leadership Franklin class of 2016, next year's class, to enhance the app, extend the coverage, and take the work that Jason and Kelly did, the work that our team has done, and take it to the next level. So again, special thanks to Jason and Kelly, to Alba, to the leadership class of 2015, Group 2 that Jason worked with, Derby Jones, Eric Jacobson, Paula, and Debbie. Thanks to everybody for their fine support. Very happy with the results we've received so far. 10 stations in place and more to come. And that's it. Oh, well, yeah, one thing we would like to show you, if you wouldn't mind, is a few of the examples of the video. The first is the retailer call to action from Eric Jacobson.
Hi, my name is Eric Jacobson. I'm the CEO of the Battle of Franklin Trust. Over the course of the past decade, nearly 200 acres of the Franklin battlefield have been saved. We've raised millions of dollars to preserve this important ground. Now we're in the midst of our latest campaign to save another piece of the battlefield very close to the Carter House. Long-term goal, this all becomes part of a large park known as Carter Hill Park, but we need your help. This cause is very important. The historic elements of it, I think, are obvious, but the real importance is that the Civil War is still relevant today. It's connected to us, even though it's distant in time by 150 years. We need your help. I'm asking for your help. Please consider putting one of the donation stations that you'll be hearing about in the near future in your store. Thank you. With your help, we can save this ground, we can save it forever, and save this important part of America's history. Thank you.
And then on the next slide, we have some of the celebrity videos. I won't play them all, but maybe play a few. We've got Jay Edward on the bottom left.
Is he a celebrity?
He is.
Hello, my name is Jay Edward Campbell, and I'm a real estate broker here in town with Synergy Realty Network. I am excited to be at Harpeth True Value this afternoon purchasing bird seed. I love to purchase bird seed and other things here with my friend Shelley Moeller. I'm also excited that they have a donation station for the battlefields of Franklin. The Historic Franklin Trust is doing this for the Carter's Hill Battlefield Park. So while you're here shopping and at other places throughout the community, you can take your credit card, swipe your credit card, hit donate now, follow the instructions, and make a donation that will go directly to the Carter's Hill Battlefield Park. So thank you so much for supporting this worthy cause.
Yeah. And the last one, let's play Kelly, if you don't mind.
Hi, my name's Kelly Gilfillan. I'm publisher of the Franklin homepage and a graduate of Leadership Franklin, class of 2014. And I was privileged to help with this project, and we wanted to introduce you to the donation stations, which will be available all over Franklin, downtown, in shops and restaurants, places like True Value Hardware, where we are now, and at the library. What we want to do is make this available to the residents. Tourism money is a big part of the economy here in Franklin, but we want the residents to have a way to help save the battlefield too, because it is an important part of our community. The money raised by the donation stations will go to preserve the acres at Carter's Hill Battlefield Park, which will also be available to the residents, and it will be a passive park that we can use every day with our children to run, for exercise. So it's something that as a member of the community you really would want to give to. So it's very easy. Take your credit card, you just say, I want to help, and you swipe your card and put in the amount that you want to donate, and it's done in 20 seconds. So we really hope you'll consider it, and we appreciate your time.
So thank you. Our plan is to edit those celebrity videos into the Eric Jacobson video and install those on Donation Station to help make it a more compelling conversation for customers and also for the local retailers, and also for our Facebook and the Battlefield Trust Facebook site and Twitter account, et cetera. So, any questions? All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Well, I'd like to just say thank you to group number one, and it's always nice that when you have a group that can take a project from a previous year and enhance it and expand upon it, and then also have the opportunity for maybe next year's group to come in. And I will say that if you do have some technical difficulties, those will be edited out, so if you make any mistakes, don't worry about it. I don't think that's true, though, so anyway, hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties. So we'll get ready for group number two to come ahead and come up. I guess we've already got them up here. So group number two, the team members are Jane Bibb, Dennis Gorgadas, Taylor Irwin, Greer Redden, and Britt Rothrock. Their team set out to raise funds to endow the Leadership Franklin Scholarship Fund through the alumni body and friends of the organization. Let's learn how they developed their comprehensive plan and executed it. Thank you.
All right, good morning, and thank you all for joining us today to hear about the Leadership Franklin Scholarship Fund. My name is Taylor Irwin, and I'm joined by Britt Rothrock, Dennis Jorgados, Greer Redden, and Jane Bibb. We want to give a brief overview of kind of the origins of the Scholarship Fund, how kind of the timeline of our efforts, as well as the different amount of work that went into it, and then finally provide some input on where we are currently, as well as where we hope to be going forward. And to kind of start, I want to introduce you all to our 2013 recipient, Miss Madison O'Shields. Miss O'Shields is currently a sophomore in Austin at the University of Texas. She's a member of the Liberal Arts Honors College. She's currently on track to receive 2 majors and a minor. She is the lead editor of the campus publication and journal, as well as recently she received the honors of being a bi-monthly contributor to a New York-based publication. So you can tell that the folks that we choose continue to go out into their respective communities and do good. So I want to provide a brief quote just explaining what she's hoping to do in her future. So we can take a couple seconds to read that. All right, well, we'll jump right into the origins of the history of the Leadership Franklin Scholarship. Initially, this scholarship was set up to award a deserving Williamson County, specifically Franklin, student either bound for college or currently in college, a $1,500 scholarship. The scholarship itself is merit-based. However, there's extreme weight given to the quality of their written essay, as well as each applicant must show that they have strong leadership skills through extracurricular activities as well as different forms of community engagement. The fund itself has been in existence for several years. However, all the information prior to 2010 is a bit unclear, as in that year, the flood that hit this area actually destroyed the records. So we kind of only have information on this project from about 2010 on. And the project itself was depleted in 2010. However, the efforts were reborn through Leadership Franklin's class project, one of the group projects that year. They actually successfully set up a silent auction at their graduation ceremony, raised enough funds to continue the scholarship for a couple of more years in both 2010 and 2011. And then through other gifts given annually, either through individuals, legacy gifts, etc., 2 scholarships were awarded both in 2012 and 2013, yet the scholarship fund was going to be depleted in 2014. At our opening ceremonies in August, we actually heard from Mrs. Cross, who explained that by that point in 2014, the funds had already been depleted, and that a $200 donation had been received to kind of revitalize and jumpstart that program again. That's when our group decided to step in. We no longer wanted to struggle and jump around to raise these funds year after year and scramble to award these scholarships. And we wanted to create something that would be a little more everlasting, a little more sustainable. And so our group actually set about to endow the scholarship fund. And so we set on a campaign to raise funds and go through the process to raise money and set up the fund to create a more everlasting impact, ideally lasting in perpetuity. I want to now introduce you to our 2012 recipient, Ms. Lindsay Landrum.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Landrum. I'm an integrated marketing communications and managerial finance major here at the University of Mississippi for the class of 2016. I have been involved in my time throughout at Ole Miss. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of the Ole Miss Ambassadors, Head of Athletic Ambassadors, Orientation Leader, and Student Alumni Council. Serving as Kappa Delta's current president, it has allowed me to raise over $40,000 for our philanthropies, Girl Scouts of America, and for Child Youth America, to help other girls grow and achieve their dreams. The Leadership Franklin Scholarship helped me defray my tuition costs, allowing me to give back to the university. I would absolutely like to see other students receive the Leadership Franklin Scholarship to help them pursue their college degrees. Finally, I want to say thank you to Leadership Franklin for this gracious award. This has definitely helped me throughout my past 2 years with the large expenses of college. Thanks.
So, as Taylor noted, our project resonated with the entire group back at opening day in August, some 8 months ago, believe it or not. And we initially did some research to find out what this project might entail. So we created a timeline of activities for an action plan to meet this April 2015 completion date. We sat down with Mrs. Cross initially and enlisted her input on the project. She was thrilled, and she identified 52 individuals and corporations who she said we should target with a personal approach, and Jane will touch on that a little later. Before we could ever reach out to alumni, as Taylor noted, we had to do some background work on updating contact information in Leadership Franklin's database, and Jane will go into more detail about that as well. We obtained 3 to 5 testimonials from former Leadership Franklin Scholarship recipients that you'll see sprinkled throughout our presentation, and we've included those in print and online, and we hope they'll be used for future fundraising efforts for the Scholarship Fund. Thanks to Taylor and Paula especially, we launched in December an online giving vehicle on the Leadership Franklin website. PayPal has become our friend, and so Dennis will share more about that and the success of that effort. Not only will it benefit Leadership Franklin Scholarship Fund, but it'll help Leadership Franklin in the future with other costs. We drafted and sent 4 different solicitation letters by mail, and those went out in December and January on a tiered effort. Initially, 52 went out to those that Mrs. Cross identified for our personal follow-up and approach. Then we sent out solicitation letters to the remaining alumni body, as well as those alumni who live out of town. And finally, our fellow classmates received a solicitation letter as well. We actually drafted an acknowledgement letter for the donations that were going to be coming in, and we created a tracking vehicle for gifts that were received. And we created a weekly e-blast to provide alumni with updates about the progress of our fundraising efforts. And Jane will go into a little more about that. And last but not least, our group was honored to be a part of this year's scholarship selection process, reviewing 23 applications and using criteria, as Taylor mentioned, such as the GPAs and community involvement and the essay to recommend this year's recipient, who we will meet tonight. So now let's hear from another Leadership Franklin Scholarship recipient Kelsey Brower. This is a quote from Kelsey.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey Brower and I am a junior at Middle Tennessee State University. I'm studying business management and I hope to graduate in 2016. I'm a Division I soccer player for MTSU and I'm also the starting goalkeeper and captain for my team. I'm involved with Gamma Beta Phi Honor Society, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which is FCA, and Habitat for Humanity. The Leadership Franklin Scholarship has gave me the opportunity to enroll in the business courses I need to graduate. I hope that other students would want to receive this scholarship because I was blessed with the opportunity and it allows me to continue my education. I would like to again thank you for my scholarship and taking away most of the financial burdens that I had as being a typical college student. Thank you. Have a good day.
Kelsey's been on the Dean's List since matriculating at MTSU. I'm so excited to be standing here today to be a part of impacting the lives of young scholars in our community this year and hopefully in years to come. As you can see, several projects were spawned from our original project, and for time's sake, I'm going to focus on updating the Leadership Franklin's database. Is anyone familiar with the expression herding cats? That kind of sums up updating the Leadership Franklin database. Paula and Debbie do a phenomenal job as volunteers of Leadership Franklin in getting information out proficiently and efficiently and expeditiously on using email. However, our project wanted to use a different vehicle, and that was a hard copy letter sent to geographical addresses so that those folks that were receiving them, our alumni class and current class members, could actually hold something in their hands and ponder their participation in this project. In order to do that, the majority of the email addresses are correct, but the geographical addresses have kind of just laid there. And so as people move, as they retire from work, if they're not updating that and sending that information to Leadership Franklin, there's really no way to collect that information. So in order to make the printing of over 300 letters easier for us, we needed to do a mail merge. But Leadership Franklin's database is not set up for a mail merge because everything is disseminated through the email method. So once a mail merge is formed and in place, it's a piece of cake to send out. I mean, it takes about maybe a minute and 30 seconds to print the letters, to print 300 letters. So, and also, our ability to reach everyone was as good as our database information. Paula Harris very graciously actually contacted the alumni class twice asking for updated information. And as typical in this kind of outreach, about a third responded, which left 2/3 to us. So we jumped right in and made incredible headway into tapping into lots of different resources. You can imagine. We did LinkedIn, white pages online, we Googled folks, we called alums who might know an alum, we plumbed people's Christmas cards lists, I even drove through neighborhoods because I knew somebody had moved somewhere, but I didn't know their exact street address. So I'd drive by, write down the number, write down the address, and double check to make sure that was correct. So that we got very resourceful, but we were able then to collect a lot of accurate information. And it's still kind of an ongoing process. But I have to say, ignorance truly is bliss. Updating the database, it actually increased our donor base. And Paula and Debbie, here's the revised database. I thank you for your tremendous support, and I hope that this tool will help you all in the 20th anniversary celebration of Leadership Franklin. Okay, so once the wave of letters had gone out to those 52 and others, we made efforts to actually contact folks by phone so that we could set up maybe coffee, lunch, dinner. We dropped by their offices bearing flowers, Diet Cokes, coffee, you name it, in order to get to sit down and talk to them face to face and explain our project to them. Like family, just about every person that we sat down with and talked to made a contribution. So one project seemed to spawn another, and when our original proposed incentive initiative to encourage larger contributions was deemed illegal by Leadership Franklin's accountant and legal counsel, we dropped back and punted Plan B. B as in best class. Now, I don't know about you, but I have heard over the past 18, 19 years who has bragging rights to the best class in Leadership Franklin. So we decided to challenge the alumni classes to put their money where their mouths were and to ante up and grow this fund. And right on my dining room table, that weekly e-blast was born. So I have to say that the competition was stiff, and Dennis, stay tuned, because Dennis is going to give you hopefully the latest. Now, it doesn't count whatever came in on PayPal just a minute ago, because we're a little bit limited on how quickly we can update our information. But I have to say that that the support was tremendous. So finally, another project was spawned, and Britt touched on that. That was where Paula had encouraged us to actually take ownership in the Leadership Scholarship Award for this year. And everybody in our group was in on that. It was really incredible. We read the essays, we read the applications, we read the school transcripts, we read their resumes, made our votes, and we came up with an easy consensus. So as a result of all these spawned other projects, formidable goodwill has been generated throughout the Leadership Franklin alumni classes. Every single alumni class supports the scholarship. I think that exhibits unity and ownership in a worthy cause. And we are and we will continue to impact the lives of students like Madison, like Kelsey, like Lindsay, and finally, like Haley Wilkins, whom you'll hear from next.
I'm Haley Wilkins, and I'm an international business major and entrepreneurship minor at Western Kentucky University, and I'll be graduating this May. I'm a member of Beta Gamma Sigma Honors Society, Alpha Delta Pi Sorority, Reformed University Fellowship, and I'm also a Gordon Ford College of Business ambassador at my college. My Leadership Franklin Scholarship has enabled me to study abroad in Barcelona in the summer of 2014. It was an amazing, life-changing experience that I will never forget. Studying abroad is an experience that has changed my perspective in life and will definitely affect my career and life choices in the future. I would love to see other students be able to receive the Leadership Franklin Scholarship to provide them with this assistance and encouragement that I have had. I would like to sincerely thank Leadership Franklin for providing me with the honor of receiving this scholarship, which has allowed me to study abroad. Thank you so much for your help.
So at the end of the day, you heard a lot about what had gone into putting this all together, but I think, if we're all honest with each other, what really matters is results. So we'll go over some of the results we had and truly see who is the best class. So to start off, Taylor mentioned earlier, the fund at the end of 2014 started off with $200. And we felt like to properly endow the fund, we were going to need to raise $31,500. And literally, as of this morning, because Jane updates me fairly regularly, we were at actually over $34,000 collected. So, congratulations to everyone. And it's great that we've met and now exceed the goal. And Greer will talk a little bit later why it's important that we continue to give and some of the future things we see with the fund. So a great accomplishment. We talked a little bit about PayPal, and it really was from day one something this team felt like was important for Leadership Franklin and the scholarship fund as well. So if we were going to maximize contributions, we really need to get this set up. And as you can see from the pie chart here, 35% of contributions have come from PayPal. As of this morning, in total, we've had 49 contributions in PayPal and over $6,000. So really, without that, quite honestly, we would have made our goal. So really important to us, and I think it will really help Leadership Franklin moving forward. So let's look at a little bit of a breakdown here. So this is class ranking. This is as of March 30th. This is participation. So something to us that has been important since day one is really not about how much you give, but the fact that you actually do give. So whether or not it's $25 or $1,000 is important. That's why we really push to maximize participation by class. As of this morning, some arm twisting by Jane, the 2015 class is actually at 100%. So everyone has given to the scholarship fund. which is great. I know 2014 has really made a push. So a week ago, they were 25%. I think as of right now, they're at 85%.
No, we stand corrected. They're at 100%.
They're at 100%. So I think we got there first. I think we got there first. So we still are, we are the best class. But I think what this shows, though, even going back all the way to the first class, you see participation across the board amongst all classes. So I think that's really what's been important about the whole eBlast campaign. So really important. Moving on to just dollar amounts. Again, this is as of March 30th. You see, again, across the board, I know the 2015 class is above, I think, right out about $2,500 as of right now. And then 2014 is actually triple their amount that you see on that chart right there. So again, I think not only in participation, but in total dollars, we got participation from all the classes across the board, which is, again, what we were looking to do. So really important. And without that, quite honestly, we wouldn't have been able to reach our goal. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Greer, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the future of the fund.
Excellent. Well, when we talk about what does the future hold, we want to describe what our thoughts were at the very beginning. And at the very beginning, what we certainly wanted to avoid is being in a situation that 5 years from now, 2020, Leadership Franklin was once again looking at a depleted scholarship fund. And we really saw the key to that again being sustainability. What can we put in place? We don't want to just throw a number out. As impressive as it is that we hit $34,000, there's a number of factors that can impact that very quickly in a negative way. And so what can we put in place to ensure that this really becomes a legacy not only for our class but Leadership Franklin? The recipients that you saw are not outliers. When we went through these applications, it is extremely impressive and gives you great confidence in the future of this community and the country as a whole. And so we want to make sure we continue to do this because they become the legacy and they become future class members. Part of the way we sought to accomplish this was to partner with Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. Some of you, or probably many of you, are already familiar with them. They receive in contributions from families, corporations, individuals who allow them to get a professional organization to put that money to work and to essentially give it away to various causes that they're able to establish. So Leadership Franklin would be able to establish the criteria for the scholarship at the Community Foundation. It would have their name. The scholarship would be based on their criteria, but Community Foundation would administer it, would receive in the applications, would make the selection based on our criteria, and would also invest the assets. So again, Paula and Debbie, I'm still not sure they have full-time jobs because it seems like this is their full-time job. And ultimately, I'm sure they're going to want to hand the baton off, and I can't imagine whoever takes it can do as good of a job. So we need to have something in place to allow this to continue on, not just in terms of the dollar amount, but the systems in place that it carries forward. And none of us want to be in a situation where we get asked by parents why their child wasn't chosen. So we can just say, hey, it's a community foundation. So anyway, this was all a critical part. And I'll add too, we'd love to have those students receive additional scholarships. When they apply, they may not get the Leadership Franklin, but they may become eligible for other scholarships. Community Foundation has 90. There may be students who apply for one of the other 90 that were not even aware of Leadership Franklin and get introduced to what a great organization this is, assuming they're a resident. So there are a number of ways that it can be really beneficial going forward. Now again, we view our job as having laid the groundwork for sustainability. It really is just the beginning. We'd love to fund 2 scholarships and can be accomplished at a time. As kind of an idea, we're looking to distribute 5% every year. That's why we had $31,500. So $1,500 goes out, we've got $30,000 there, able to do another $1,500 scholarship assuming the market moves in our favor, which sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But we'd love to have 2. We'd love to have given 10 if you'd seen these applications. It was extremely impressive. But future classes will be needed. So we're going to go ahead and plant the seed. We would welcome the opportunity to work with some other classes. There's some things that we wanted to do that we weren't able to do because of time constraints, and the next class can accomplish that, hopefully. Quick economics lesson. The historical S&P 500 performance there, keep in mind that's the 500 largest publicly traded companies, and that's what the market has done the last 6 years. You'll note there's not a single down year, which is wonderful for our 401ks and IRAs and whatnot, but needless to say, down years come. And the scholarship fund is invested at least about half in equities, and the other half is in bonds and some alternative investments. When we talk about the 7% hurdle, that's assuming 5% goes out every year for a scholarship and 2% in administrative costs. So if you're not at least achieving that, you are taking a bit of a step backward, assuming no additional money comes in. So in a year like 2011, you actually would have lost ground. The market was up 2%. You have 7% cost on top of that, and there you are. In 2008, this particular pooled account fell 28%. So if you were at $32,000, that puts you at like $23,000 or so. So, you have to start the whole process again. So we're not trying to, just trying to lay that out there. That's why we must continue this on. It'll be a moving target and one that we want to continue to be able to achieve. We want to take a second not only to think of all of you. I mean, 100% participation, it certainly couldn't get any better than that. But we could not have done it without these corporate sponsors. Franklin Synergy Bank, not only did they give as an institution, they matched employees. Skanska gave us dentists for an entire year, and they gave financially, both priceless. Barge Wagner, Gibson Kine, along with Stites and Harbison, again, could not have done it without all of their help. Tremendous role in making this a reality. And special thanks to these two individuals. Mrs. Cross gave of her time, of her contacts, identified people who are as passionate about this as she is, and also gave personally. Tremendous thanks to her. And Mr. Harrington, again, showing leadership as an alum through his institution to not only do it personally, but encourage his employees. So again, this really is the beginning, not the end. We're thrilled what we've hit, but we know we've got a long ways to go. And now we have the privilege of presenting a check to Paul and Debbie. The check is incorrect. Unfortunately, it's not. Dennis?
It's over $34,000. I think there's another $1,000 that we actually received this morning, so it's $34,435 and 12 cents. All right.
Okay, we'll continue with the projects with group number 3. The members are Chaz Corzine, Carrie Hudson, Corey Napier, Jose Rodriguez, and Laura Beth Stubblefield. Their group purchased body armor vests for the Williamson County Sheriff's K-9 officers with funds given to support the ongoing operation as well as to raise awareness, support, and resources for the K-9 veterans. Let's learn how the funds will continue to support Williamson County's K-9 division.
Thank you. I'm Chaz Corzine, and thank you to Group 2 for establishing who is, in fact, the best class ever. We've established the 2015 class is. It's an honor for me to be a part of the best group ever, Group 3. So, with Corey Napier, Jose Rodriguez, Carrie Hudson, and Laura Beth Stubblefield, we, like everybody that's gone through Leadership Franklin, would tell you that one of the greatest things about this program is the people that you meet and the things that you find out about this community that you might not otherwise have known. We were incredibly moved when we visited the Sheriff's Department at several things, the compassion of that department, the quality of the people that are there. But we particularly fell in love with two individuals from there, Debbie Rogers and her partner Gunner, who has served our community. And a passing comment caught our attention. It wasn't a big deal. They didn't make a big deal out of it, but it caught our attention that of these 4 K-9 officers that serve us absolutely fearlessly, they only had one piece of body armor for these 4 dogs. 3 were unprotected, and that caught our attention. We also asked questions about what happens to the dogs when they retire, as Gunner was getting ready to, and found out that the responsibility for the vet costs, the food costs, all the responsibilities go to the partner that takes that dog into their home. That can be a tremendous burden. It didn't seem fair to us. It didn't seem like the best system, so this is the project that we tackled. And I'll now introduce you to Carrie Hudson, who will give you more information.
Oh. We want to show a quick video that we took while we were working on this project.
K-9 Gunner, I think, has made a great impact for the citizens of Williamson County. Not only the fact that he has alerted on numerous vehicles that's had large amounts of drugs that's being transported through our county. He has been here for the citizens in case anybody has been lost. He's done a couple of tracks where we found things that needed to be for the law enforcement community. He's gone out and actually tracked for lost children. Luckily, the children were found before we tracked them, but it's still nice to know. The good thing about the K-9 unit is that if they are, they're so much faster than just sending somebody to a call. For the instance, if a building, if a building was broke into, the dog can clear an entire building within a tenth of a time of what if we could send five people out to search that whole building. So it's a financial savings for the citizens of Williamson County for the K-9 unit to be in place.
So if you didn't love Gunner already, I hope you do by now. After our group came up with this project, I kind of became the natural liaison between our group and the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, since I work for Williamson County government already. And from the initial email that I sent to Sheriff Long saying, I think we have an idea for a project, could we meet with you to talk about it, to our times that we sat down with him, with Chief Deputy Rhodes, with Captain Parker, with Corporal Rogers, with other members of the staff, Vicki Pedrick, Jennifer Davis, the list goes on and on. Their support and their gratitude was overwhelming by far and very moving. And if you didn't feel compelled already, you did after that. So in the beginning, we had lots of ideas, but we knew that we had limited time and limited resources, and we wanted to create something that would be sustaining for the Sheriff's Office for future years, so that they would have a vehicle when other dogs retire to provide assistance to those animals and to their handlers as well, because the need will only grow. There are 3 dogs on staff now. There's Lexer and Ammo and Bear, and the K-9 unit is not going anywhere because it is so valuable to the Sheriff's Office and what they do, that there will always be a need in providing for these officers after they retire. So we felt like the best concentrated effort that we could put forth in leaving a kind of blueprint for future individuals to work with was to establish an awareness and a fundraising campaign to kind of get things started and provide that future momentum. The awareness campaign basically consisted of just your basic PR media blitz. We spent a wonderful afternoon with Debbie and Gunner in January, and through efforts of our group member Jose had a photographer donate their time and talents and services to help us capture some visual images along with some of the video work, so that we could build on collateral pieces to help promote this worthwhile cause in our community. And after spending an afternoon with Debbie and Gunner, if you didn't love Gunner enough, I will speak for myself personally, I wanted to do this just for Debbie. Her heart and soul and passion is in this service, and so we wanted to be able to honor that. And we get a little emotional about it too sometimes. So our basic PR campaign consisted of all of the things that you normally see. Laura Beth did a great service for us in writing a lot of our press releases that we put out. I serviced them with what I do for the government. I already had a built-in set of media contacts that we could push it through. Our local media jumped all over this, and we could not have done what we did through this project without their help. It was covered in multiple platforms across Williamson County. It also got some cable coverage, so we felt like we were really getting the word out there to people in the community. We also partnered with some other great organizations in the Williamson County area to help service our message as well. Sharon Puckett with the Williamson County Sheriff's Office was very vital to us in that means. Laura Chavari with the Williamson County Animal Center also helped us out a great deal. She shared some of our Facebook posts, and within a 24-hour period of time of the first Facebook post she shared, it had over 23,000 views. So that was a great vehicle for us in distributing our message. And then the judicial branch of Williamson County government was also very supportive behind this effort because of the service that they provide for a lot of what they do in their day-to-day work. As far as the fundraising campaign went, it was a little bit more difficult. I'll be honest, probably the best way to have done this would have been to set up a 501c3 to funnel and manage the donations, and we weren't really left with the time or resources to do that. So again, working with Williamson County government, I kind of reached out to some of my contacts through the county government system, Diane Giddens, who's the executive chief of staff for Williamson County government, Nina Graham, who is our accounting and budgeting director, and said, you know, help me. How can we make this work? Because Leadership Franklin really isn't set up to process donations on an ongoing basis. But we wanted a way, again, that this could be sustaining. How could this work? And so through a lot of efforts and a lot of time on Vicki Pedrick and Jennifer Davis's part, we were able to come up with a way where the sheriff's office could actually receive the donations, process them on their end, and be able to funnel them for the appropriate costs that the canines would need after their retirement. If you know anything about fiscal budgeting or how governments move money, it wasn't easy, but a team of people came together and worked it out for those people. And so hopefully we have done something, again, that will be sustaining. I know that's a theme that we're all hearing today, but we want the things that we do for our community to be sustaining so that it can reap benefits for years and years to come. With our fundraising campaign, we developed a lot of collateral pieces, donation flyers, donation letters that were geared towards monetary as well as in-kind services. We reached out to several animal-based businesses in the community to see if they might be able to make donations or offerings for some of the in-kind services the animals would need, including food and veterinarian costs. And then left all of those pieces with the sheriff's department so that when the next dog retires, when Lexer gets ready to retire, they'll have something to start that process with again. They won't necessarily have to start from ground zero. You know, our flyer didn't have Gunner's picture on it, but you know, the next dog who retires won't be Gunner. And so we wanted it to be something, again, that would live on and on. And provide for amazing individuals who do so much for our community. And Debbie did bring an example of our bulletproof vests. This was Bear's? Jake's, thank you. I went all the way back I went to number 3 instead of number 1. Debbie's first dog was named Jake, and he is actually interned on the Williamson County Sheriff's Department land site now, but this was his original flight jacket that he wore, that Gunner wore. And so while the number of vests was not appropriate, the, I don't want to say the quality, but you know, the structure of the vest had also been degraded by some point as well. So we were happy that we were able to help assist them in upgrading and expanding on their equipment. And I will turn it over to Laura Beth next, who will talk to you about the retirement reception that we actually hosted for Gunner just a couple of weeks ago.
Good morning. So as Carrie mentioned, one of the ways that we really set up this campaign was through a media blitz that we partnered with different media outlets in the community. And one of the things that we were really excited about was to bring an actual event that the public could attend, to bring an awareness both to Debbie and Gunner, but just to really showcase Gunner and the work that he does. And so while we in our class on Criminal Justice Day got to experience a canine demonstration, we wanted to be able to showcase that to the community as well. So we had the the gracious Debbie partnered with us and did a very early, before the sun came up, interview with WKRN Channel 2, which we're going to show you now. But this aired just prior to our event.
A special ceremony down in Williamson County. The Sheriff's Department will wish happy retirement to a very decorated and special officer. Paige Hill is live at the Sheriff's Office in Franklin with a preview. Hi, Paige.
Hello! Well, it's time to celebrate because Gunner's best friend and handler, Corporal Debbie Rogers, says that he's slow and old. You can't tell right now, but this guy put in some serious time for the Williamson County Sheriff's Department. He is chomping at the bit because we're about to do a live bite demo, and he knows where it is. And he doesn't even want to hang out with us anymore because he saw that sleeve. He's about to be all business. But first, Debbie, if you can wait just a few minutes, Gunner. Debbie's going to tell us about this party. Sure. It's a big fundraiser. What are we raising money for?
We're going to invest the dogs that are working now. So we've got 3 dogs for the department that's working now. Gunner here, and I think they're going to raise money for hopefully for other departments to vest their dogs too and keep them safe on the streets.
Right, and it's open to the public. Everyone's invited to come.
Everyone's invited. Please come down and see.
Right, and Gunner now we're retiring him because he's slow and old.
Slow and old.
He's not your typical big bad police dog.
No.
You look at him and he says, "Pet me."
He has a good on-off switch, but he would much rather be petted now than go to work.
Right, but he can turn it on.
He can turn it on.
Can he turn it on for us right now with that sleeve?
Let's let him see.
All right, let's
come
see.
Here. Good boy, come here.
It's time to get to business.
Here. Sit. Sit.
Uh-oh.
Sit.
Here we go.
Sit. Sit. Nope. Sit. Good. Sit.
He's so excited, guys. He's been doing this, looking at that sleeve for about 30 minutes.
Oh, that's a good boy.
Wow.
He still knows how to bite. And he still likes it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. He gets his toy.
And he's not letting it go.
No. This is his favorite thing to do.
Right.
And
awesome.
grab it and play some more.
We'll make it to his retirement party today at 11. We'll post all that information online. Come celebrate Gunner and raise money for his new friends with the Williamson County Sheriff's Department to vest them and protect them as they help and protect Williamson County. Guys?
Yes, thank you.
All right, Paige, thank you. And he's still going to be helping out the folks down there and other police departments, too.
Awesome.
What a good boy.
So that's just one of the great examples of some of the media coverage we got prior to the event. I also had the opportunity to sit with Tom Lawrence at WKM, where he has his community roundtable radio discussion on a weekly basis. So many of us met him on Media Day as well and got to sit with him and just talk about Leadership Franklin and talk about Gunner's Guardians and the program that we've developed. We specifically chose to host our event in mid-March because March 13th is National Canine Veterans Day. And so we lined our reception or ceremony up with that event just because it was already getting national attention. I would just thank those of you that got to attend that event in this room. Many of you came out. We were able to just open it up to the public, different leaders and staff members of the Sheriff's Department, and many in our community were able to attend that event. At that event, you're going to see some pictures here now that we'll just scroll through. We were able to do a canine demonstration with Gunner. We were able to recognize Debbie just for the service that she brings. She truly is the foundation layer of the canine program in Williamson County, and so that was the point of the ceremony, was just to bring honor where honor was due. We promoted the donation on site to continue to bring awareness to long-term needs and causes related to Gunner's Guardians. And we were really pleased. Corey served as our speaker for the day for that event and followed up with another interview after the event with WKRN, which aired later that day. I would say one of my more proud moments of being involved in this project was just seeing the headline from the Tennessean that came out of that event. We had a great group photo shot, and it just reads, "Williamson Deputy, Canine Body Armor Goal Met." So we were really pleased with the event. I'm going to let Jose share a little bit about Gunner himself and just the life and legacy that he leads.
Well, I get the honor to just talk a little bit about the guy who kind of inspired this whole movement that we put together. Gunnar was born in 2007 in Germany and originally named Kazan. He came to the United States when he was 11 months old. In 2008, at 13 months old, Corporal Debbie Rogers obtained the long-haired German Shepherd, and in just 3 months, Gunnar was certified to join the Williamson County Sheriff Department. He comes from a strong bloodline, and his whole litter was imported to the U.S., but Gunnar was the only dog from his litter to made police dog. Gunnar has played a significant role in law enforcement for Williamson County. A gentleman stole a van on Columbia Avenue, and Gunnar was able to track the man down, and the man ended up with a felony charge for stealing a vehicle. Gunnar responded to a bank robbery in College Grove, and the most significant call Gunnar has ever responded to was the March 2013 search of a vehicle off of I-65 at Paytonsville Road that turned up 80 pounds of marijuana. The drugs were valued at $500,000. What could have been just a routine traffic stop turned out to be a large drug bust. Some of his accolades include these awards at the 2012 USPCA, and that's the United States Police Canine Association. He won second place in bite work. We know Gunnar packs a mean bite. Third place in article search, and third place in box search. Gunnar fits the mold of a great police officer. He would go to extremes to protect and serve the people of Williamson County. He has been a part of the force for 6.5 years and officially retired on November 14, 2014. He's now assumed more of a role as a petting dog for the department, and the kids of the community love to see him out at our events. Gunnar may no longer be on active duty, but he enjoys still being among the officers and lives with his handler, Corporal Debbie Rogers. Some of the fun facts about Gunnar: his favorite food is just a plain old double cheeseburger from McDonald's. What he loves to do on his free time, he loves to chew. Gunnar's favorite spot is the HE Center. That's still his favorite spot in Franklin. That was the place he went to when he went on active duty for release and playtime. Some of his bucket list. He wants to be in a Taylor Swift video. He also wants to be in some sort of advertisement. I think we can get McDonald's to come up with a new product, Gunnar Snack, and he wants to hit up every McDonald's around. He could be the spokesperson for Kong or True Chews. We asked Gunnar if he had a significant other, and Gunnar was so committed to his profession that he never did find that special someone. One of his best characteristics is that he's all about work and all about people, and he loves a good belly rub. At this time, we want to give Corporal Debbie Rogers just a minute to kind of, speak a little bit about this experience and how, she got involved with us and what kind of impact this has made on her and the department.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to tell everyone thank you for everything the time and the attention that you've given to the Sheriff's Department. The dogs are usually a favorite at demos, obviously because people like to see the bite work and like to see the dogs, because not many people do not like animals. So, but with this going forward, with this kind of the resources that you've given the Sheriff's Department with these vests for the dogs, it's nice to know that when they don't wear them all the time like we do, because it's just too heavy, just too hot. But I have been on a call to where the guy said that he would shoot us when we found him, and the dog was going towards the man with the gun pointed at us, and the guy threw the gun down, because obviously you do not want to get bit. But to know that my dog might have taken a round for me was something that you never want to see happen, but to know that they have a vest on in the future just might save their lives. Sadly, up to this point in time, I think we've already lost 5 canines across the United States to gunfire. So it does happen. We are just lucky. We do have a good community. We have a very good community, and so those calls are few and far between. But it's still nice to know that that vest will go on that dog in a moment's instant, and that just might bring him home to me tonight. So thank you.
Debbie, thank you so much. We need to lean on you one more time. It's come to our attention that there's been some nefarious activities, unfortunately, reported for this group.
In this group?
And we need some help. Is Gunner up to it one more time?
Oh, Gunner can do this. We got this. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah, we got this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
If everybody just stay seated, we won't take very long. You might get a hair on you. I do apologize. Other than that, we'll go around and do our job. We'll see if we can take care of your business, okay?
We appreciate that.
Jane! Jane Bill. I think we all could have guessed it would have been Jane.
I think this was just an old name tag. I really don't believe that says right.
Thank you, Debbie.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Gunner. Well, we didn't talk about results, but we're happy to report as of this morning that we have raised $7,500. And it's a mixture of some large donations as well as small contributions. We're still raising money, and for $50, I think we can arrange a photo with Gunner for any of you in the audience. Obviously, there's a lot of love between Handler and their dog and their comrade. And, you know, it's fun to be part of a project where we can pay it forward and provide for these animals. And, you know, Debbie has taken on the responsibility of a dog that's been through combat for a number of years. And she has done so willingly without an increase in her paycheck. And so who knows exactly what ailments these dogs will confront. But the money that we raise helps provide for hopefully a long life and friendship between Debbie and Gunner and their successors to come. So thank you.
They can still.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to continue on. Another great project from group number 3, and it looks like it could be another great project for another class in the future to take over and continue to build upon. But we're going to move on to group number 4. The members are Philip Feemster, Alba Gonzalez Nylander, Aaron Kirshner, Susan Smallwood, and Patsy Watkins. They established a partnership with the Little Free Library to provide access to books for children and adults whenever they please. Let's learn how this project will encourage relationships within our community. Group number 4.
Thank you, Jeff. On a light note, kind of made a joke out in the at the break that Group 2 donated a check for $34,000 and change, and we made bird boxes. So, anyhow, with the joke being aside, we do believe this will be an important project that'll sustain our community. Literacy is something that's important that with our first meeting back at opening day at the retreat, we all had similar personalities that kind of came toward one idea when we were presented to come up with an idea. And it was something to try to help children, help the community to improve the quality of life in Franklin. So Aaron had been exposed to the Little Free Library in Madison, Wisconsin, and threw that idea out, and we kind of we talked over it and kind of ran with it. So we have installed one to date at Pinkerton Park and have 4 of the locations that will come online shortly. So we're going to kind of start off with, we've all chosen a quote, what reading literacy kind of means to you. And we'll start with that and then go through our presentation. The quote that I have is from W. Somerset Maugham. To acquire the habit of reading is to construct for yourself a refuge from almost all the miseries of life. And that sounds bad, but actually if you think of it, if one can read, one can create their own happiness in this world. And so that's kind of with that's what we've done. The project kind of in my mind, I was writing something down last night, is it's a project to provide the access and sharing of books in places where the community gathers. So this is not a mobile library, but it'll be where community gathers and the ease of access of sharing and hopefully promote literacy among our children and the diverse groups of our community. And with that being said, Aaron?
Well, the Read Box, as we call it, we wanted to do something that we could have in the community. And before I go any further, I want to say a quote actually by Oscar Wilde. It is what you read when you don't have to that determines what you will be when you can't help it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, books can affect people in many ways, and obviously the reason we first took on this project was we said, hey, we want to do something for the quality of life. We live here in Franklin. Franklin's our home. How is there something that we can do for the community to, number 2 little bubble there, benefit the community? Because, you know, there's a difference in just doing something and doing something that benefits others. And in our project, we said, hey, this is our home. We want to see something that can benefit everybody. And going into the next phase was being diverse, diversity. What's something we can do that can affect or help a child, an adult? Doesn't matter on their abilities, doesn't matter their background, doesn't even matter their language. So we took those things into consideration, and we said we want to consider all socioeconomic type individuals and do something for them. And we said, okay, well, this is our home. We know that. So we want something to create community. You know, Franklin's a wonderful town, but as we've learned through Leadership Franklin, sometimes you don't know a lot about your own community. And what better way to establish a local presence with something in the community that the community can engage, can do together, whether it's a child going to get a book, whether it's an adult sitting on a park bench, whatever that is, that's our family, that's our home, that's Franklin. And that's what we wanted to create, obviously, by creating the community, but we also said, okay, we help create community. But like everybody said before, in this project, we want to sustain it. So what can we do? Well, we said, okay, if we do something that is enduring, that people can go to, it's tangible, they can see, they can use. Well, people build usually a sense of loyalty to that or a sense of community. So what do? They support it, they promote it, they help care for it. And we'll go into that later, but part of our project was to do something that we know future years, future generations can utilize what we develop. And then we'd like to talk about, obviously these are read boxes, but literacy. We obviously know how important literacy is. We all can sit here and look at that slide and read it, There's some people that can't. So as we were researching, and we were deciding on a project, we said, okay, we realized that literacy encompasses so many facets of our life. Obviously today we have so many modes of communication, but most of them you still require to read, whether it's a text, whether it's an email. So literacy is important. And we feel it impacts individuals, it impacts families, it impacts communities, and it impacts the world. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Patsy.
Well, my quote is that anyone who says they only have one life to live must not know how to read a book. We all know we can create a whole nother world by reading books, and that's so important. And we don't know who wrote that quote, but it's so very true. And so as we were thinking about this project and talking about the little free library that we kind of looked at and began to investigate, we thought, what would a free library encompass? Well, it encompasses that idea that you will take a book, but you would also share a book. So that's kind of how it would be self-sustaining, that you would continue to have this concept of books being shared. And you get to share what you've read. If you read a book and you're really excited about it, you want to share it with your friends and neighbors. And so that was an important way of how you could begin to develop friendships over those books, as you started sharing that with some of your neighbors and your friends around you. And it also provided the opportunity to make books available where it might not be so easy to obtain them. If you're sitting at the park watching your children play, you might not have a book on you, but if you went up to the read box, you could pick out a book, and you could spend a few moments maybe reading with your child or reading yourself. And then it also would begin to encourage conversation and community relationships as you talked about what you read, as maybe you learned about things you didn't normally know about. And then we also began to do some research and investigating of how we would make this project take off. So naturally we went to the internet, where you began to explore, and we found one of the most helpful websites was the Little Free Library website. They had a lot of information. We also began to interview some potential partners that we might partner with, and you'll see more of that in our video. And then we also started to talk about what would be some important locations where we might put the read box and where they might be the most useful in the community. And with that, Susan will tell you about how we came up with the design.
My quote is from the National Council on Literacy, and it is, "No skill is more crucial to the future of a child or to a democratic and prosperous society than literacy." We strongly believed in the impact that these boxes would have on our community, and so we plowed forward to have them built. At first, we thought we were going to spend a Saturday as a group and have a chummy day and build them ourselves. That didn't work. So the design of the box, we wanted it to be simple, and we actually took the blueprint off of the Little Free Library website. They very generous with the design and how to put it together, and so we used that blueprint with just a few tweaks of our own. We wanted them to be attractive, having something around our beautiful city. We didn't want them to be obviously an eyesore or become an eyesore. There were some ideas of having, recycling some old newspaper dispenser boxes and that kind of thing. And we really decided that these have an attractive quality to them. So we went ahead with this design. They are very durable. They're constructed, again, we hired a contractor to construct them, so we know that they are built very well and will last, easily accessible. It's a door that opens so that it's not difficult to get into. And then also we needed something that would survive the elements and protect the books. The roof is reinforced, and then the boxes have weather stripping around the door and a couple of coats of polyurethane on them, so they They actually have survived some of this incredible rain that we've had the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so we feel like they're going to hold up. Choosing the locations was an interesting process because we really wanted something that our class, or our group, obviously wasn't going to, maintain in 5 years from now. And so the thought was that they would be placed in neighborhoods and areas where the people who would utilize them would maintain them and take responsibility for them. And so our first location and installation is at Pinkerton Park, thanks to Lisa Clayton, who gave us the green light to put our first box over there. During this process, we developed a great relationship with Dolores over at the main library. She was very enthusiastic about this project and has really committed to providing books for all of the locations by developing a relationship with somebody, in that neighborhood or in that location. So Dolores and the library will take responsibility for the box at Pinkerton in terms of keeping the books supplied, and then the Parks Department is more than happy to take care of the box for us, which is great. They met us out there. You'll see in the video. They met us out there and dug the hole and installed the post for us, and they're going to do some landscaping around it. Our second location actually did not make this slide because it's just a recent meeting that we had, and that is going to be at the church that is on the corner of 6th and South Margin, which is the Latino church called My Father's House. The pastors there are so excited about having this box in front of their church. In fact, when I met with the pastor's wife, she said, providing books to our people will be as important or more impactful than actually Sunday church. That's how incredibly excited they are to have this box, especially to have some Spanish books for children, which Dolores is very cooperative and excited to start obtaining more books that are suitable for Spanish-speaking children. That box will be installed in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a groundbreaking and or ribbon cutting, and that will be our media splash. So stay tuned for that. We haven't had that yet, but that's up and coming. And then we are also partnering with O'Moore School of Design to install a box in their community garden in the fall. If you remember when we were at Hard Bargain, they have the 5 houses that they're building over there. And as part of that overall development, they have a community garden, a playground, a gazebo, and they have plans for a library box. O'Moore's first-year students came up with a design for the community garden, including the box, and so we'll partner with them. Or actually, it'll be a great project for someone in next year's class to partner with them and install that box if that's what they want to do. If not, we'll go ahead and do that. We also have the archive secured as a future location. The Franklin Mobile Home Park out on West Main. And then we have Nacho Street here. We don't have anyone specifically that has emerged to take responsibility for that, but I'm sure that relationship will be formed. So we have 5 boxes in total that were made, and 1 currently installed. Alba was responsible for putting together the video for us.
Yeah, no good in speech, so I'm just gonna do what I do best, video production. So I'm introducing you the produced video that can tell you better the story about our project.
Reading is fundamentally important, and to a community as well as an individual's education. It's never too early to get a child interested in reading, and it's never too late to get an adult interested in reading. When a community reads, it is more educated, more thoughtful, more well-rounded and innovative. I think it was, the possibility was exciting for a partnership. Actually, I have heard of the red boxes, as you call them, or the little free libraries, and been wanting to do it in this area. So it was exciting when I heard that Leadership Franklin was interested in doing it as one of their team projects. Franklin in Williamson County have quite a bit of places to put them. Parks is always a good location, in front of City Hall or the county administrative complex. You know, anywhere in front of churches, anywhere there is a lot of activity and people coming in and out of a building. It is a benefit because I think, you know, as families see these red boxes, they'll be able to find something for their children to read, or if there's something that's in there that's in the box that perhaps they would like to read. I see it as a way to promote not only an interest in reading within the community, but also promotion for the library in getting people to come to the library and be interested in reading and maybe perhaps bring their kids to a story time. We have a very active Friends of the Libraries group. Our staff is, you know, in Franklin quite a bit. And also I've worked with some folks with the City of Franklin. So I'm hoping that if there's red boxes that need books, that, you know, they'll let some of the staff know and we can go and put some in. The Friends of the Library receives donations from people within the community. You know, they may be spring house cleaning, or their children may have outgrown their books and they're interested in having someone, you know, donating them so someone else can enjoy them. So we receive quite a bit of donated books throughout the year from families. And so that's what the Leadership Franklin team was able to do, was go and select some from that. That's what I would love to see, if someone gets a book from the red box, that they'll put one in and keep it going, keep the donations going, and keep new and interesting things for other folks to read. I just think this is a tremendous opportunity, and I am very thankful to Leadership Franklin for this project and for your team. Thank you very much.
And the Leadership Franklin group reached out to us, to our family, to ask us about how our little free library in our front yard was working, how we had a community ribbon cutting and lots of people, kids on blankets, just sitting all over our front lawn reading books and having fun, eating cookies, you know, drinking lemonade. Then as the months progressed and we're watching books change in, change out, the dynamic of the library just being so much fun, we look out our front window and we see kids running across our front yard just to grab a book, sometimes with a book in hand to put in the library, sometimes just grabbing a book and jumping back in the car or walking down the street on their way to the park or anywhere else. So it's been a really fun community activity for us. So as reading specialist at New Hope Academy, I love the idea of having little free libraries alongside the public library, since they are similar and different, but they make really great partners for literacy, for promoting literacy and celebrating literacy. The Williamson County Public Library System is an amazing resource in our community. We have great libraries that build community and just have so many resources available to us. But what I've seen the Little Free Library offer, a little box in a park or on a front lawn that as an approachable source for books. Also, the book selection at a Little Free Library is always changing. It's very dynamic. It's a very fun place to show up and see this little selection of books that wasn't there the day before or the week before. So every time you go, there's a new selection of books. Also, there's an extra little endorsement added to the books in the Little Free Library, because as a community project, your community, your friends in your community, your neighbors are putting the books in saying, I love this book and I want to share this book with you. Bottom line is that access to books is, we know, a top predictor of future children's success in school and therefore life. The more access to books, the more books that are readily available, approachable, available to them, the more opportunity they have to read and grow as readers and lifelong learners.
Well, as an alumni of Leadership Franklin, you always want to be willing to assist in any form or fashion. And when you bring children, but also when you bring a wide variety from adults into the picture, you can't beat a project like that. One of the things that's so great about these boxes, and it's wonderful that we have another Leadership Franklin class that comes forth to actually produce something that's for quality of life. And we're being able to add that to Pinkerton Park adds to the quality of life by, number one is sharing. That's what's so great in the community, is sharing those books for individuals that, believe it or not everyone has access to books. And so, especially in this way, so from any age, whether it's from an adult sharing a book or actually obtaining the book from the box, or a child, but what a great place from a park standpoint. When we have a beautiful day, that's what quality of life in the city of Franklin is. It provides those opportunities for people to do many different things in different ways. And plus, it's immediate within a park system. So you've got playgrounds around you, you've got picnic tables, and people are coming out. And so it's just a great place to implement a project such as this.
Thank you guys, and we encourage you to visit the Read Boxes throughout the community. So please engage, give, take, give back, help the community, help yourself.
Bring more books.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I'd just like to say congratulations to each of the groups that are represented here today, and your class should be extremely proud of what you've all produced and provided for us today, and we appreciate that. It doesn't seem like just 8 months ago when you started out and you were having the 12-hour days each day that it would go by this fast, but it has gone by this fast, I'm sure. And I'm sure you can all look back and appreciate what you've done and what you've learned and had the opportunity to learn something about Franklin that you otherwise wouldn't have. As of tonight, you're going to join an elite group of alumni of Leadership Franklin, and you should be very proud of that. You've already shown that apparently you're the best class so far, so at least monetarily, but to be considered the best class, you need to continue to get involved and be involved in Leadership Franklin, and I can attest to that you're never going to be through with Leadership Franklin. Obviously, next year you get to conduct one of the day events, and you'll get those assignments later, and hopefully you'll continue to be involved in Leadership Franklin in whatever capacity that you can. I encourage you to attend any of the alumni events, and anytime the graduation events come in the future, please attend those as well and support that any way that you can. Debbie and Paula continue to do a great job, and I know they'll appreciate any kind of help that you can give them in the future. So with that, we conclude the project presentation, and thank you again.